was just past 2 a.m. and I was driving home from a friend's house. The highway stretched ahead of me, silent and empty. The only sounds were the hum of my engine and the faint whoosh of wind outside. My headlights barely pierced the dense darkness, and with each passing mile, a strange unease crept over me. I'm just tired, I told myself. But then, out of nowhere, the radio crackled. It startled me because the radio wasn't even on. At first it was just static, faint and irregular. Thinking it had turned on by accident, I reached for the dial. But before I could switch it off, I heard a voice. "You're not alone." I froze, my hand hovering over the controls. My heart began to race. The voice was soft, yet it sent chills down my spine. I glanced nervously at the empty back seat, or at least I thought it was empty. "It's just my imagination," I whispered, trying to steady my breathing. I turned the radio off completely, and silence settled over the car again. But then the voice returned. "Don't look behind you." My stomach dropped. This time the voice was louder, clearer, and it wasn't coming from the radio. I gripped the steering wheel so hard my knuckles turned white. My instincts screamed at me to keep my eyes on the road. "Don't look, don't look." But I couldn't stop myself. Slowly I glanced at the rearview mirror, and that's when I saw it. A face, pale, ashen skin, eyes black as voids, and a smile, a terrible, twisted smile, stretching far too wide. It stared at me from the back seat, unblinking. I screamed. My foot slammed the brakes and the car screeched to a halt in the middle of the highway. Without thinking, I flung the door open and stumbled out into the freezing night air. My chest heaved as I tried to catch my breath. I turned to face the car, trembling, but all I saw was darkness. The back seat looked empty. Shaking, I forced myself to walk closer. I peered inside. Nothing. The seat was untouched, as if no one had ever been there. But the lingering sense of being watched didn't fade. I got back into the car, hands shaking as I started the engine. This time, I didn't look at the mirror. Not once. A week later, I sold the car. I told myself it was just exhaustion, a trick of my tired mind. But then I heard something chilling. The man who bought the car? He told someone that whenever he drives alone at night, he hears laughter. Soft, cold, inhuman laughter.